Welcome for the talk. Today we are going to talk on the Mangala Suttam. Yeah? This is one of the Buddha's teachings that we use on daily basis, yeah? For the blessing, for our protection, for our well-being. But when we read the sutta, you will find actually it is not just for the listening. It is to apply for the life, transform our lives, and get the benefit out of it. And that benefit is the real blessing that you can achieve or receive through this sutta, through this Mangala Sutta. Yeah? Now, before we go to the sutta, I would like to go to the history. There is a kind of a very beautiful story behind this sutra. Now, it happened this way. Those days, people did not have all sorts of entertainments like we have today. Yeah? They didn't have TV, no cinema, no handphone, no Facebook. Yeah. So there were very limited entertainments for them at that time. And one of those entertainment was storytelling. There were professional storytellers, people who can tell the stories beautifully. Yeah. And the king paid them. It was a professional job. Those storytellers are no more existing today. They have become politicians today. They tell stories to put in a dream world, utopia, about the future. So they had this storytelling kind of entertainment, and after the work, people go to those places which were designated for this listening of those stories. And some stories took several months to finish, like Mahabharata, yeah? Ramayana, Sita. Those Indian stories, very long stories. So people usually gathered there in the evening. After their work, they go and gather it. So it became a place for their gathering. And when they start gathering, what happened? They start creating friends. They will start becoming friends. And on these platforms, they started talking about their problems in their family lives, in their social backgrounds. Whatever troubles or issues they have, they started discussing among each other. One of the issues that they discussed was this issue of Mangala, the question of Mangala. What is Mangala? What is the real blessing? Almost all of them, they had their own concepts about Mangala. What they thought was, before an important event or in the morning of their days, whatever they see or hear or they smell or they touch or they taste can give the auspicious results later. Auspicious or Mangala is depend on what they see. They are called Ditta Mangala. What they see. Before an important event or in the early morning of the day decides whether they are going to have auspicious or inauspicious Mangala or Amangala result in the future. Yeah. Now don't we have this? We still have this, in this 21st century, we still think that what we see before we go somewhere or before we start something can have the power to decide whether we have a good result or a bad result of whatever we are aspiring to perform. Now in China, if they see a monk early morning or as they are doing something, in the beginning of the action, if they see a monk, that is inauspicious scene, that they have a bad result. In Sri Lanka they have this, some people they have this. Early morning if they see a monk, that's it. I think there's a story, supporting this idea of the people. A hunter, once he left his house with his dogs for hunting. As soon as he was leaving the house, the monk was in front of the house. Of course, the monk went away. He felt not so good about this journey, but still he went on, and that day he didn't get any animal to kill, no hunt to find, nothing to hunt. And he was so disappointed, hungry, tired, and coming back home, and he saw the monk again. He was so angry, he just indicated the dogs to chase the monk. And these dogs chasing the monk, this poor monk, trying to escape these dogs, he just climbed onto a tree. And this hunter, with his spears, with his arrows, he started hurting the monk, his feet. And in his struggle to escape this hurt, the robe of the monk fell down onto the hunter. The dogs thought, dogs are idiots. They thought the monks fell down, and they just pounced upon the hunter and they killed the hunter. Now this is a bad omen. Monk is a bad omen for hunting. So sometimes if you go hunting, don't encounter a monk before that. But I don't think in any other situation monk can be an inauspicious sight. But in Sri Lanka also some people, I myself have that experience, that's why I'm telling you. Some people have this idea, if you see a monk in the morning, not a good sight for the day. But in China for sure they have this. But in Thailand it is different. If you go to Thailand, in their cities, early morning, whole city is saffron color. All the monks going on their arms around. Yeah? Early morning. Because for them, to see a monk in the morning is a blessing. Yeah? What else? To see something. In the modern days, in this country, what do you, I have heard this. Rabbit foot. Rabbit foot. The foot of a rabbit. They hang in front of the car, or a horseshoe over the door frame. They hang. Blessing. Yeah? In the European, I have heard that they have this concept. Rabbit foot and the horseshoe can become a blessing, a site of auspicious. This is the blessings they decide based on what they see. They are called Ditta Mangalika. And they have a group like that. And there were another group, Sutta Mangalika. Based on what they hear, what they listen, they decide whether it is an auspicious or inauspicious, Mangala or not. Yeah. Now, don't we have this? We have it. That's why when something we begin or something we initiate, either monks will be chanting or there will be a recorder of chanting going on while you are initiating something. Early morning we like to listen to some chanting in our houses at home in Sri Lanka. Yeah? This is the blessing for the day. If when you are leaving home, a lizard at home make the sound chick chick chick, what happened? You also say chick chick chick, day is finished. This journey doesn't work. Yeah? Because lizard predicted you will have a bad result. Yeah? The lizard predicted your future. Yeah, people have this. If a crow comes to your garden, land on a dry branch and make sound, bad prediction, something bad is going to happen. There are. Even today, we have these ideas. Yeah? So, those group of people called Sutta Mangalika, the people who decided whether they are going to have auspicious or inauspicious results based on what they hear. The third group was Mutta Mangalika, Mutta, what they felt in their body, yeah, or what they taste, what they smell. Yeah? Even now, when we are beginning something very new, we will light a candle and also we will have incense. Yeah? Or we will eat milk rice. Yeah? These are the things still we are following when we initiate something brand new. Yeah? So people had this. Those days, since those days we are continuing. So these are called Mutta Mangalika, according to the objects of smelling, tasting or touching. They decide whether they are going to have auspicious or inauspicious results. Yeah? So these are the three groups. These three groups were arguing, they went to the extreme of believing in these things. Yeah? Now, for the Brahmins in India, if they happen to see or touch an untouchable person, who are this untouchable person? Low caste, a Shudra. If a Brahmin happen to see a Shudra, they wash their eyes with the sandal water. They always have a jar of sandal water at their arm's length. To keep a jar of sandal water is a must for a Brahmin, because on their way, if they happen to see a Shudra, they wash their eyes. If they happen to touch a Shudra, it is a death warrant for the Shudra. They will kill the Shudra. Yeah. That extent they went on based on Ditta Mangala, Sutta Mangala and Mutta Mangala. Ditta Mangala, deciding the future based on what they see. Sutta Mangala deciding the future blessing or not based on what they hear. Mutta Mangala deciding the future auspicious or inauspicious results based on what they taste, what they touch, and what they smell. So these three groups, they were arguing, they were in a big argument with each other that what they believe is the right. Ditta Mangalikas, they were saying, we are the right prediction. We are giving the right prediction for the future because what we see decides the future blessing or not. We decide. We are the right ones giving the right prediction for the future. So also the Ditta Mangalika and also Sutta Mangalika and Mutta Mangalika. These people were arguing. Their arguments were enlarged. Nobody could come to a conclusion. And ultimately it reached to the divine beings from the earth-bound devas, from the earth level. They are called Bhumma Deva. From that level it went higher and higher, higher and higher until to the Brahma realms. Even they were discussing what it is really matters in the case of deciding the future benefits, future blessings. What it really matters, whether it is seeing or hearing or smelling, tasting or touching. Yeah. What does it really matters to decide the future blessing? Now, all were arguing, all were arguing, humans as well as divine beings. No one could come to a conclusion. Then the Sakra, the king of the gods, he decided, okay, this is enough. Yeah? No more arguments. Let's go to the Buddha. Let's go to the Bhagavan and ask him his opinion. So he sent a messenger. And this messenger did not go alone. Thousands of devas and Brahmas, they were following this messenger. And this messenger came in the middle watch of the night to see the Blessed One. You know, this is the time period given for the deities to come and talk to the Buddha in the middle watch of the night. He came illuminating the whole of Jetavana monastery because he was being followed by thousands of other divine beings. So the whole of Jetavana monastery was illumined by this crowd of divine beings. And he approached the Buddha. He asked this question from the Buddha. Please tell us, since humans as well as divine beings, all of us, if we have a desire, that desire is future well-being in the future. So what is really matters for our future well-being? Please tell us. This is his question. Yeah. So for that, we have to go to the sutra. We will try to explain little by little the contents of this sutra. This talk will not be finished by today. Yeah. We will have a few other talks to explain this sutra. Yeah. First, the history of the sutra. I think it is better we read the sutra together, the beginning part. Yeah? Evam me sutam ekam samayam bhagava savatyam viharati jetavane anatha pindikassa arami athako anyatara devata abhikantaya rattiya abhikantavanna kevala kappam jetavanam obhasetva yena bhagava upasankamitva bhagavantam abhivadenva ekamantam attasi ekamantam titako sadevata bhagavantam gataya ajabhasi evam me sutam. Thus I have heard. Now these three words are very famous because in almost all the sutras you will find these three terms. Why? Because these three terms are the terms or the words of Venerable Ananda, Buddha's attendant. Buddha's attendant, Venerable Ananda, he had such a acute memory. Whatever the Buddha says, he can remember with the context, place, people, occasion, reason, and also all the words of the Buddha exactly as they said. So he says, Evam me sutam, thus have I heard. Now there is a great significance in these three words. We have to understand this. Now, if somebody told me something, how would I explain what he told me? I would say, this is what he said. I will not say, this is what I heard. I will say, this is what he said. Because I heard it myself. But here, Venerable Ananda says, this is what I heard. What does it mean?
No interpretation.
Because the meaning is remaining with the Buddha. Only the words came to me. Because these words are not coming from a person as we are. These are uttered by a person who is an enlightened master, a Buddha. These are the words of a Buddha. What the Buddha meant is always remaining with him. Only the words came to me. So it is showing his humility, how humble he was. Enlightened master's meaning remaining with him, only the words with me. I do not know exactly what he meant. So that is why, in one way, Venerable Ananda used these words in such a manner. Thus have I heard. Another thing, you may understand in a different manner. You may heard, that means you may understand. You may hear in a different way. I honor your own understanding. I respect your understanding. This is in a way showing the Buddhist acceptance or respect for individual capacity of understanding. Because people understand in different manner. Because our background behind our lives, always different to each other. We will never understand in the same way. Right? That is why even in the day-to-day lives, you say one thing, the people listen to you will understand in a different way. A wife called the husband and she said, "Honey, the window's not working." The husband said, "Okay, this is what you have to do. Pour some mildly hot water, pour some warm water and knock it with a hammer slowly. Then it will work." Then the wife called again, "I followed what you told me. Your computer is completely destroyed." What she meant was the computer windows. Windows in the computer, but the husband thought the windows in the car, is not working. So he gave the instructions how to open the car windows, and she destroyed the computer. Even in our daily basis, when we talk like this, how many misunderstandings happen? You say one thing, people understand in a different way. How about the words coming from a Buddha? Do we understand? We think we understand because words came to me. Words coming to you. We think we understand. But actually, the real meaning is always remaining with the Buddha. So we do not really understand just because we listen to his words. So that's why Venerable Ananda trying to tell us only the words came to me. So this is what I heard. You will hear in a different manner. And I respect what you understand. I respect your understanding. And I allow your understanding. So these are the hidden meanings behind these 3 words. Evam me sutta. Thus have I heard. Ekam samayam bhagava. Once the Bhagavan. When people address the Buddha, they usually address as Bhagavan. Bhagavan translated, it means the Blessed One. But actually Bhagavan means Bhagga Raga, Bhagga Dosa, Bhagga Moha. The one who has destroyed Bhagga, destroyed Raga, sensual pleasure, sensual lust, Dosa, anger, and Moha, delusion. The one who has destroyed sensual lust, anger and delusion is the Bhagavan. Bhagga Raga, Bhagga Dosa, Bhagga Moha. So, in almost all the sutras, we can find that the followers address the Buddha as Bhagavan. Savatyam viharati jetavane anata pindikas arana. Savatyam is the main city of Kosala. One of the major cities at that time in India. Today, if you go to Savatthi, you won't find that major city. What you find is a collection of few small villages. It is called Sahet Mahet today. Sahet Mahet. That lineage you can see, still there is the hint of the connection between Sravatti still there. But Sravatti, or in Pali Savatti, it means the city of glory. City of glory. Today it is called Sahet Mahet. a city of glory had become a small village. Yeah, of course, time changes everything. Yeah. Cities become cemeteries, cemeteries become cities. So city of glory, Savatthi. In Savatthi, there was this monastery called Jetav Anathapindika Arama. The Arama monastery built by the Count Anathapindika. Anathapindika is not his real name. Anathapindika is a name given by people. It means the one who feed the homeless, one who feed the suffering, Anatha, destitutes, one who feed the destitutes, Anathapindika. But his real name was Sudatta. When he met the Buddha, he decided, Sabbadanam Dhammadanam Jinati. The best of gift is the Dhamma. Defeating the power, the merits of all the other practices of dana, the gift of dana comes to the front. It excels all the rest of the danas. Yeah? Humans become really humans because of the Dhamma. So if we can share the Dhamma with the world as much as possible, it is helping the people to become divine, to become or to be elevated to higher and higher. The Dhamma elevates our lives. Nothing else. Money doesn't elevate our lives. Power doesn't elevate. Strength doesn't elevate our lives. Only the Dhamma will elevate our lives to higher and higher. So if we can share the Dhamma with the world, that means we are giving the best thing for the humanity. That is Dhamma. So this Count, though he never stopped the feeding the destitute, he decided, I must build a place in my city as a hub for sharing this Dhamma with the world. So he spent millions and millions gold coins to build this monastery for the Buddha, for his residence. Yeah. Most of his rains retreat, Buddha spent in this monastery, Jethavanarama monastery, especially in his last days, in his elderly life. Buddha spent his rains retreat in this Jethavanarama monastery. So this is the place where the Buddha taught this sutra. Yeah? Jetavane Anathapindika Sarame. Jetavana is the name of the owner of the pleasure park. Jeta is the prince's name who owned this pleasure park. So it is still there, Jetavane. Yeah? In the forest of the Jetavana. In the forest of the Jeta. In the forest of the Jeta. Atako Anyatara Devata. Certain deity. Name is not given. Anyatara Devata. Abhikkanta Yaratya Abhikkantavanna. Kevala Kappang Jetavanam Obhasitva. Kevala Kappang Jetavanam. Whole of the Jeta's forest. Whole of the Jeta's forest was illuminated by his own light when this Deva approached. Actually, it is not only from his own light, by his entourage of followers, by the followers of thousands of deities. This entire Jeta's forest was illuminated when he approached the Buddha. Not that he intentionally illumined the whole forest, Naturally, when they are approaching, that entire forest became lighted up. Yeah? It was lighted up by their light. Yena Bhagava Tenupasankam, wherever the Bhagavan, there he approached. Upasankamitva Bhagavantang Abhivaditva, having paid respect to the Bhagavan, Ekamantang Attasi, he stood aside. What is this aside? Ekamantang. Neither too far, nor too close, neither extreme right, nor extreme left. If you can find somewhere, that is ekamanta, aside. Yeah. In almost all the sutras, whoever approached the Bhagavan, whoever approached the Buddha, because of their respect to the Buddha, they always stand this particular place called ekamanta. It is explained as neither too far nor too close, neither extreme right or left, somewhere in between. Ekamantang attas. Ekamantan kita kho sa devata, bhagavantang gataya Njbv. He asked the Buddha using a stanza. Now remember, in Pali we call it stanza, but actually these are poems. Buddha was so poetic. You can find thousands and thousands of poems, Pali poems we call Gatha, in the Tipitaka. Yeah, it was so poetic. It means he did not reject arts and, he did not reject. What he rejected was whatever bound you to the samsara, whatever bind you to the cycle of samsara, he rejected. But these arts, the poems, can be used for the understanding of the Dhamma. So everybody must have known about this. I mean, humans as well as devas must have understand about the Buddha's inclination for the poems. Yeah. So this divine being, as soon as he approached the Buddha, he was saying a stanza, yeah, a poem. Bahu deva manussacha. How about we chant together? Bahu deva manussacha mangalani achintaya akankamana suttanam bruhi mangala uttamam. Bahu deva manussacha. Many devas as well as humans. Manussa, humans. Mangalani achintayo. Being unknown to the Mangalas. Yeah. This, what is Mangala? Without knowing the proper Mangala. Akankamana sottana. Since they always desire their well-being. Bruhi mangala muttama. Please utter the great blessings. Yeah. Now this is a very kind of a turning point for all the understandings that they had at that time. Yeah. It is like this. Once in India, there were a big argument as well as a protest that all the castes must be allowed to the temples, because only the higher castes were given the chance to enter to a temple, not the lower castes. So all those powerful politicians, educated people, they were in two sides. arguing, protesting. Then one man, one philosopher, he came up. He said, gods are not in the temple. Gods are not in the temple. Now, if the gods are not in the temple, argument of going into the temple doesn't work. They were arguing about going into the temple. And some were like Mahatma Gandhi, Sri Nehru. They were trying to allow all the people to go into the temple. Now one guy has come front and he's telling, gods are not in the temple. So why worry about going into the temple at all? Now this is a situation like that. All those people, including the devas, divine beings as well as humans, they were all arguing. What they hear is predicting the future blessing. That is one group. The other group says what they see predict the future. And the other group say what they taste, touch and smell predict the future. Now they come and ask, actually their intention is to get one of them correct. Yeah? Either the listeners, hearers or seers. Who is correct? One of these three groups. Who is correct? But Buddha is giving what? Completely different answer. None of these people are correct. You are all wrong. Yeah. This is what we find when we go through these 12 stanzas, giving 38 blessings. 38 blessings. Now, before we go to this, we have to understand another thing. Now this sutra is basically for the lay people, for the householders, not for the monastics, not for the people who left their household life, but for the people who are at home. There are many sutras in Buddhism we can find that are taught or instructions given, especially for the lay people at home. But we don't find all those sutras in one place or in a separate section. Yeah? Maybe the monks did not want to remember those stuff. In the first council, the Buddhas were, the sutras were compiled and got into separate categories. All were done by monks. Yeah? So the sutras or the teachings given to the lay people, they are not the concern of the monks, right? Monks don't want them. So many of the sutras, many of the teachings given to the lay people, given to the householders in the travelings of the Buddha, I think they are gone. They are missing. Because monks were not so careful about remembering them. Yeah? But luckily they remembered this sutra. But we have to understand this sutra is actually aiming for the householders, people who are living at home. Now remember, Buddha was existing in an environment decided by the Brahmins. Brahmins were deciding or controlling the human life from birth to death. Now they have this instruction or the rules for the human life that you have to live according to the rules and regulations they have put in. One of them was called Ashrama Dharma. Ashrama Dharma. Ashrama Dharma is the duties or the performance or the way of living according to the age of a human. Yeah. Now, if a person live up to the age of 80 or 90, he has 4 stages. The first one is Brahmachari, student. That is the time for you to study. Brahmachari. The second stage is Grahastha, householder. Yeah. To maintain a family, to raise the kids, do all those responsibilities and earn money. That is Grahastha. The third one is Vanaprastha, retirement. Little by little, handing over your responsibilities, your possessions to your children, and little by little moving out of the householding life. That is retirement. And then comes the sannyasi, renunciate. Student, householder, retirement, and ultimately you renounce. That means you leave everything behind and go to the forest or go for a long pilgrimage. Many of them, on the way of their pilgrimage, they die. Now this is how the majority of the humankind lived at that time. They planned their lives like that. Study, maintain family, householder, retire, and then renounce. Everybody has to go. Everybody has to follow. But this is according to whom? According to somebody else. Now Buddha rejected this. Lord Buddha said, if somebody wants to become a monk in the very young age, we should not stop him. Let him become a monk. Yeah. He did not want to. He did not want to put any kind of rules and regulations for the humans. Yeah. Let them decide what they do. But this sutra was taught not for the monks, right? As I said before, this is for the lay people who live in their household life. For them, Buddha gives these 38 blessings step by step in comparative of what? In comparative to the students, the householders, people who are retiring, and also people who renounce. Until that age, little by little, what you have to fulfill, what you have to develop within you, those development becomes your blessing. As a student, what you have to develop within you, they are your blessing. They are your foundational blessings for the whole life. As a householder, as a family man, what you have to do. Yeah. Then when you are retiring, what you have to do. Then at the last stage, what you have to do. What you have to develop within you. Until to the meditation. Until to the development of Eightfold Noble Path. Until to that age, you develop this within you. They become your blessings. So we have to understand this sutra. When the Buddha was teaching this sutra, he did not go against the social background of the people. Yeah? He taught this sutra comparatively or comparative to the social background that the people were living. Okay? So with that, we go for the first. Do we have time for that? 2 minutes only. So, first one is Asevana Chabalanam. Buddha says, Asevana Chabalanam. What is Sevana? associate, to be with, to cope with, to talk with, to hang around with someone who is called the Bala. Yeah? Who is this Bala? Bala, in our language, we usually, Bala is somebody who is younger than us, right? And sometimes we Bala say somebody is foolish, yeah, than us. But Buddha's understanding of Bala is, Buddha says, Ducchinti vachinti hoti. His thinking is wicked. Dubbhasita bhasi hoti. His words are wicked. Rude words. Destructive words. Dukkhata kammakari. His actions are destructive. Wicked actions. So if somebody has rude thinking, wicked thinking, and the actions and his words are destructive, that person is the Bala. This is how Buddha explains in the Anguttara Nikaya, in the kindred saying, the nature of the Bala. Bala is a person who thinks the wicked things, to destroy, to harm others, to disturb others. Yeah? Then his words, lying, slandering, yeah? Rude words, destructive words for others. In his action, naturally destructive, killing, stealing, sensual misconduct. These are the things happening from a Bala. So if somebody associates such a person, his life would be naturally, he will also absorb who he associates. It is natural. We are born as a clean slate. Nobody is born as a murderer, as a thief, as a killer. Nobody is born as completely black or as completely white. We are born as an opportunity. Tabula rasa, they say. Clean slate. All our changes happen. All our differences happen because of the association. Because of the association. Sevana. This association make all the changes. A young child, innocent child. Why every child is innocent? Because ultra purity is there in every child. But that child, to become a saint or a murderer, is all based on the surroundings, the people who associate, people who grow up with, who he grew up with, yeah? Including his own parents, his friends, his teachers, the environment, background. All these things create that person later. Don't we have the capacity to become murderer, a thief, a gangster? We have that capacity, but we were so fortunate, we did not grow up in that condition, in that environment. Yeah. If we happen to grow up in such an environment, among the gangsters, don't you think you won't become a gangster? Don't you think you can become somebody who murders others, destroy others? We were so lucky that we grew up in a different environment. So Buddha says, Sevana. This association is so important. It can change his his flow of life, his way of life completely. Yeah, we are going to talk about it further in the future talks. Yeah, so today we just talk about the background behind this beautiful sutra. Yeah, it is so important to learn the background. Otherwise we do not know why this sutra is this important. Okay. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahitika punyantam anumoditva chiram rakhantu lokasasanam. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahitika punyantam anumoditva chiram rakhantu desanam. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahitika punyantam anumoditva chiram rakhantu mam paranti. Idam me jnatinam hotu sukhita hontu nateyo. Idam me jnatinam hotu sukhita hontu nateyo. Idam me jnatinam hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo. Blessings for you. Dukkha roga bhayavera soka sabbe upadhava aneka antarayapi vinassantu ca tejasa jaya siddhi dhanam labham sotti bhagyam sukham balam siriyayu ca vanno ca bhogam buddhi ca yasava satavassa ca ayu ca jiva siddhi bhavantu te airarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti minate samicchatu.